Your house is worth whatever it's worth, right? Whoever sells it. Wrong. I'm Charlie. Welcome to Moving Home with Charlie, and thank you for coming.
Charlie Landing grew up in Sussex, is the founder of Best Agent and presenter of Moving Home with Charlie.
If you want to find one of these guys, look out for those compassionate professionals. All estate agents are not the same.
So Charlie, what would be your advice for people interested in buying new builds right now?
Don't overpay. Do buy, but don't overpay. That's why I say disregard the guff. Read into the numbers and look, and it's buried. The bad news is buried in the small print, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Property Press Awards.
They may or may not be telling the truth, but you should form your own view. Get out and view, get out and view, get out and view. You cannot be in a position to make offers and have the offers accepted if you're not viewing. Just be out there viewing. Pay attention to the back of the class. If you've not been watching my videos, I did one just a couple of days ago. Disregard the guff, guys. Good evening, everybody. How are you all tonight? Welcome to another live stream with me, Charlie Lambden. This is Moving Home with Charlie. And tonight, it's good that I've had a few hours to calm down, actually, today. Any of you who follow me on Twitter will have seen me kind of rage posting a bit on Twitter today. All of the articles that were misleading the Rightmove May house price index, as they call it. I even got myself something special to report the guff with. I call it a guff mask. But the trouble is, with my guff mask on, you can't hear what I'm saying, so I can't wear the guff mask. I can't wear the guff mask to report the guff because you won't be able to hear me. But having to try and keep myself zen because otherwise this is going to turn into a rant, which I don't want it to do. So what's this all about for people who don't know yet? This morning, Rightmove published its May, what it calls house price index. And I think even that name is incorrect and misleading given the way it's actually worked out. If they called it the Rightmove asking price of newly listed properties index, I would have no beef. I would have no complaint with that. But the mere fact that it's called the Rightmove house price index implies that the numbers in its index relate somehow to actual house prices, and yet there is no connection between Rightmove's asking prices and actual house prices. Yes, sure, in normal times when the housing market's generally sort of trending up along, then your house price, asking house price is also trending up a bit. And yeah, okay, it's like everyone understands that average asking prices are about 100 grand more than average actual prices, which tells you everything you need to know. But the reason that I'm fired up tonight is because uninitiated first-time buyers are having their decision, this massive life decision, influenced by headlines in publications that they presumably trust. That's then compounded because a lot of estate agents believe Rightmove's PR and just take it at face value, even though most estate agents hate Rightmove because they get ripped off. Estate agents get ripped off by Rightmove, most of them. And they just accept the numbers, and they accept the numbers because, okay, it helps, because if house prices are rising, people to feel better about buying, okay? But one of the problems that it causes is that estate agents who read these and don't know how to question them and go, oh, right, well, Rightmove says house prices are going up. We'll turn around and in good faith say to you, did you see Rightmove? Yeah, Rightmove confirmed house prices are rising. Incorrect statement, factually incorrect statement. House prices are right. Let me just show you some examples of what we've got here. Okay, let's just go into this because it's really making me quite cross. So Yahoo Finance, UK house prices, doesn't mention asking prices, jump to record high of 373,000, and of course, hundreds of times more people see the headlines than read the articles. And this headline is everywhere today, right? UK house prices jump. Okay, no. Asking prices have increased. There's no jump in there, okay? But of course, these journalists get paid on how many clicks they get on their article, and a headline like that makes people want to click it. So I don't think there's some big conspiracy to get out there and make the mainstream media narrative say this, because some of them are saying the opposite. I just think that journalists who've got to churn out articles every single day and need to get their articles clicked on are going to word their headlines in a way that they know it gets clicks, and no one's getting into trouble for publishing UK house prices jumped record high when it's Rightmove saying it. But it's wrong. I'll come on to it's wrong in a minute. Mail Online has actually parroted an article from Reuters. Confidence returning. There is absolutely no justification for that statement. Confidence returning. When you hear how I explain the numbers in a minute, you'll see that that is completely speculative, made up rubbish. Okay, I'll explain why in a minute. But this third article is the one that's really winding me up the most because this is on the iNews site. Okay, where is it? iNews. UK house prices at record high. Okay, how do you interpret that at face value if you are a new buyer in the market and you're just uninitiated, you're underinformed? Oh, you've got no reason to doubt that, have you? If you're underinformed and uninitiated, well, iNews said that UK house prices are at record high with biggest monthly growth seen. Oh, well, maybe we've got nothing to worry about. Now, the reason that I'm frustrated is for the same reason that I'm frustrated with people telling people in the industry saying house prices are going up, even though they know that that could be putting people at risk of negative equity. Now, let me say for any new followers here, my opinion is that house prices will fall, peak to trough, and the peak was last summer. Trough will be sometime in 2025. A total of 35% nominal, not real, nominal falls, 35%. That's my view. Now, put that to one side. It doesn't really matter what my view is, because you should all make up your own mind, okay? But you're going to be making up your mind based on what you read in the news. And these sorts of headlines lead to people going ahead with transactions that they later regret when they find themselves in negative equity and can't sell or can't keep up their mortgage repayments and have their house repossessed. Mortgage repossessions jumped 50% in Q1, okay, of this year. So people are having their homes repossessed already at a faster rate, and that's going up. So at the same time that repossessions are going up because people can't afford their mortgages, headlines like that are basically like the flame that first-time buying moths fly into, okay? Now, by the way, if you disagree with me and think, I don't think Charlie knows what he's talking about, I think house prices are going up, and I'm really worried they're not going to come down, so I'm going to buy now. As long as you are happy with your decision and you're happy to own it and wear it like a t-shirt and accept the consequences of your decision, crack on. Ignore me. Call me an idiot. Say that I'm wrong and go and buy your property at the top of the market and see what happens. And again, for any new viewers, the reason that I'm so convinced house prices not only have already come down, but that's already officially recorded in the land registry, but will continue to for a long time, is because the rising effect of interest rates has only 1/3 impacted the market so far. We haven't yet seen the effect of 2/3 of the effect of rising interest rates since last summer, number one. And number two, real wages are falling. And there is a 97% correlation between falling real wages and falling house prices. But there is this big time delay in what's reported. Now, again, Rightmove's asking prices are reporting something that's happening at the very beginning of housing transactions, not at the very end after the transaction has been completed and recorded at the land registry and published. Okay, so there's also this confusing time lag effect. But let's just have a look at what this article says, because I will explain exactly what I mean, and I will break it down. UK house prices, so that is already an incorrect statement. It's UK asking prices, because house prices implies the prices at which houses are trading, doesn't it? Right? Which this is not reporting. At record high. No, this is also wrong, because that suggests that all UK house prices are at a record high. But actually, as you'll see in a minute, what's at a record high is just the price of new properties coming to the market. And it's just the average, right? So the average of all the asking prices of new listings that came to the market in May, or in whatever period Rightmove's reporting, are showing a record high for the average of those prices. But there are many different explanations for why an average can go up. And if the average rises, it doesn't mean that house prices are rising. I'll come on to that in a minute. I've got a metaphor to describe it to you so you understand. Biggest monthly growth seen this year. Well, okay, that's not difficult, is it? Right? We're only in May. Biggest monthly growth seen this year. Let's go on. Sub-paragraph, right? Average UK house prices grew by 1.8%. Okay, at least they put the word average in there, which is one step better. But again, wrong. It's not UK house prices growing by 1%. It's asking prices, and they still haven't said that yet. Okay? Not until you get well into the second paragraph of the article do you actually find a sentence that's got the truth in it. The average new seller asking price for a home. That means it's ignoring all of the other property on the market. It's ignoring all of the price drops. Okay? So UK house prices is not the same as average new seller asking price. That is the phrase that should be in the headline. It should be in all headlines. Average new seller asking price. And just while we're on the numbers there, right, where it says it's gone up to 372 from 366, I want to show you in the Rightmove release itself. Can you see that? Let me just go to this like this so you can see it. Okay. Now, what you'll see is if you look at the sectors, the monthly big change is only in the top of the ladder properties at over 600 grand. That's where the big changes come, and that's what's caused the average to rise so much. Okay? And anyway, let me come back. I now need to tell you a little bit about Rightmove. No, sorry. Before I get into that, let me just describe what this is like saying, okay? Imagine a used car forecourt, and imagine it's got 20 cars on it. And imagine the average price of those 20 cars is £10,000. This report that's come out from Rightmove today is like saying that parking car lot had 2 new cars added to it. So the prices on the 20 haven't changed, but the prices of the 2 new cars are way higher than the prices of the existing ones because there's more expensive cars coming up for sale. And so just because those 2 new cars, so there are now 22 cars, okay, just because the price of those 2 new cars was a lot higher than the others, it's like journalists reporting, used car prices have gone up. That's what the headlines are saying. All used car prices have gone up, when actually the reality is just 2 of the newest ones that arrived in the forecourt went up. Even if the asking prices on the other 20 that are unsold have been dropping, which they have, right? We know that house prices on the market have been dropping. They're still saying house prices have gone up. So it is mathematically wrong. It's factually wrong. It's morally wrong. It's ethically wrong to be saying in a headline, and I hope some of you journalists that wrote these headlines are watching this, you are misleading people into purchases based on the fact that they think house prices are going to rise or are rising because of your, at best, sloppy fucking journalism, and at worst, knowingly misleading, because UK house prices are not the same as new to market asking prices. Do I make myself clear? Like, is this? Oh my God, there's so many of you commenting. Could you tell me, guys, in the live comments right now, was that a good explanation of what's happening? Right? Was that a good explanation of what's happening? Because I actually think that when we look, as I'm about to in a minute, at the way Rightmove said 12 years ago that it calculates its house price index, right? you're going to start to see just how ridiculous this is. Good, thank you. So, is anyone watching this now in any doubt about whether or not UK house prices have gone up or not? Just honestly, I think some of the journalists are clearly young journalists and actually probably just haven't paid enough attention. They write on lots of different markets. They do all kinds of stuff. Oh, Rightmove says house prices are going up. UK house prices are going up. And it's just sloppy. But some of them know better. And the other thing that will make asking prices appear to rise is if lower value properties are being sold and not replaced. That will make average asking prices appear to rise when they're not. Now, I would like you all to know something about Rightmove, because I would like to justifiably discredit the Rightmove house price index, right? First of all, it's an asking price index. So let's always, if we're talking about it in social media, let's call it the Rightmove asking price index, because it is not that price that houses are trading at. Okay? It's the asking price index. Now, here's the next thing, right? Every single month when they bring out this report, it only includes newly listed properties. Let that sink in, okay? It only includes newly listed properties. It doesn't include the average of all the rest of the properties that are still on the market, and it doesn't include price reductions of stuff that's on the market. I would love to hear someone from Rightmove explain to me why that's not misleading. I want to tell you a bit about Rightmove, okay? So what you have to remember about these big corporations, these big stock market listed corporations, is you have to ask who owns them, okay? Now, Rightmove is owned. I need to share the screen again. Okay, Rightmove is owned. Here we are. Let me share it with you. So Rightmove is owned by Kane Anderson Rudnick Investment Management. That is an American hedge fund, basically, equity fund, an American investment fund, which owns 11%. BlackRock, anyone heard that name? One of the biggest investment funds in the world, is the second largest shareholder, and Marathon Asset Management is the third largest. And between them, they own just under 25%. So Rightmove is controlled by American hedge funds. And who wants to guess how many fucks they give about the UK housing crisis? Zero. Zero fucks given about the UK housing crisis by the owners of Rightmove, not by the staff, not by the management, not even by the directors, but by the owners of Rightmove. And the staff, the board of Rightmove, does what the shareholders want it to do. So let me get into just, yeah, I've got the web pages of those firms up here, but don't need to go into that. But now I want to show you this. Just to deal with any questions about Rightmove's position as far as the UK housing crisis is concerned, right? Actually, I'm going to start with this page, okay? Making a difference to our communities. This is the kind of guff that gets right up my nose. We are committed to supporting the communities in which we operate. Well, that's the entire housing market of the UK, right? We have continued to focus both on local and national charities that matter to our stakeholders, with donations and employee-matched funding. We engage the local communities, blah, blah, blah. We are pleased to report that the charitable donations, including matched funding and sponsorship, totaled £231,000 in 2022. Wow, that's quite a lot of money. It's nearly £250,000, right? And that includes sponsorship, and it's also matching what the staff are raising to charity. Okay, all right. Let's see how much money Rightmove makes. So £231,000. How much do they make? Can anyone see on that? It's printed small. 241 million is their profit. It's their profit. Okay. So less than 1 in £1,000 of their profit is going to any charities, by the way. That £231,000 is spread across all the charities, of which housing is only one of them. Less than £1 in every £1,000 of profit. And, Zoopla is no better, okay? Zoopla is 100% owned by American hedge funds and does similar things. And Uswitch, which is owned by Zoopla, the last annual accounts I looked at had 60 million quid in them, 100% of which is going to their American hedge funds, right? So almost nothing of the profit that, in my view, these companies suck like a parasite out of the industry is actually going back into communities. Almost nothing. So, I don't know, what's the conclusion here? I would love everybody to share this video or just share the phrase that the Rightmove is an asking price index. It's only for new properties listed. It excludes existing listings. It excludes price reductions. And so if any of you are talking to estate agents and the estate agent says to you, "God, Rightmove says house prices are going up." No, correct them and say, no, Rightmove's average asking price of new listings has gone up. Not all house prices. And you can assume, give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they've just taken it at face value as well. But say to them, you're in the industry, you're an estate agent, you should know better. Please do not just fall for Rightmove's puffing up of the market and pass it on to me to try and make me offer more. Do we have any? No, Achilles Kelly, it doesn't take account of reduced prices. Now, okay, there are lots of questions that need to be asked about how this is, especially given how much press this gets. There is no accountability. Rightmove does not publish its actual methodology. So there is a webpage called Rightmove Methodology, and here it is. I'll share it with you. Right? Hang on. Right? This is now this page was published in 2011, right? 12 years ago. I know that. I checked it. I looked it up Google. This page was last updated in 2011. Now, all the numbers on here are out of date, right? But somewhere it says, here we go here, 10,000 estate agency branches. Well, that's actually closer to 20,000 now. And it says that we are able to use a sample of up to 200,000 houses each month to produce our survey. Well, I think that Rightmove, in its publication, which I've looked and it doesn't say, it should publish exactly what the sample size is, like Nationwide has to, like Halifax has to, and like the Land Registry does if you look hard enough. For example, last month, the Land Registry's House Price Index included just 7% of transactions from the month it was talking about. So Rightmove, show us your calculations. The Bank of England has to, the ONS have to, they make their data sets available. Show us yours to prove that what you're showing us is not manipulated. So here are the questions. Are all new listings included? As in, do you include things like garages and land and all of those various other listings that are on your site, which aren't actually homes? Do you include, so that's one important question. What percentage of the total listings makes up the newly listed ones? Question number 3, what property types are included or excluded? So for example, retirement homes, are you including those or not? Because it doesn't matter either way, but you should specify if you are, because it matters. This question, does this include relisted properties? All right. Because everyone knows that a lot of properties come off the market and then get back on the market with a different agent. Does it include those or does it not include those? I don't know. You should say, because it makes a difference. Do you have an overall average asking price for everything on the market? And if so, do you publish it And if so, where? And if not, why don't you publish the overall average? Because isn't that what you should do? Like I'm doing on Best Agent. Do you use any form of seasonal adjustment? Again, it doesn't say. All right, on that page that's on the screen now, it doesn't say. So those are just 6 of the questions that need to be put to them. But somebody, and I hope that there are journalists watching, journalists from quality publications, that will actually contact Rightmove PR and say, could you please confirm whether or not that page on your website, the Rightmove house price methodology, which wasn't updated since 2011, is still true, right? Is it accurate? And could you please confirm exactly what data is included and excluded? Does it include price drops? Does it include all of it? All those things I've just been through. Given how much reach Rightmove has, they should be held to account for the quality, as in the reliability and the accuracy of the data that they put out. That's what I think. Okay? That's what I think. And why do I get passionate about it? Why does it piss me off? Because people are basing a massive life decision on these headlines. And estate agents who don't check out the figures for themselves are believing the headlines and Rightmove's data as well and going, oh, well, if Rightmove says so, it must be. So yeah, right, Rightmove says it's going up, right? Some of them are doing it innocently, some of them are doing it when they know it's bullshit. But I really, really would love you. I mean, I genuinely, guys, please share this video or share the news anywhere with anyone that you know that's buying. Do not think that Rightmove's new asking prices last month has any connection whatsoever with actual trading prices, the prices at which houses sales are being agreed today. Okay, because the only accuracy we have on that is the land registry, which is 3 to 6 months out of date, and there's only a very small sample size anyway. So nobody knows the truth of what's happening in the whole market. Now, I want to Harry Burton, you've asked a good question. Rightmove actually admits, I've got the article here. Rightmove actually admits in its survey that there are a disproportionate number of higher priced properties coming to the market at too high a price they're not selling. In their own language, it says it. And if you go to the bottom of all their guff on this, you'll see it. Oh, by the way, actually, the higher end properties are coming on too high price and they're not selling. So one of the things they put in there today was that higher priced houses, they don't define it, are taking twice as long to sell as this time last year. That's not in the headlines. Anyway, do you have any questions on this, guys? Yeah, quite right. I value my semi at 16 billion. It's on Rightmove. And I had a tweet today. Oh, I wish I had it ready to show you. It was an estate agent following me on Twitter. And by the way, moving home with Charlie or moving_Charlie on Twitter. I tweet every single day or almost every single day. And that's where you get much more up-to-date information from me. And he said that he valued someone's home at 600,000 and he got the instruction. And they said, we'd like to go with you, please. That's great. And he said, great. Okay. The next day, the seller rang him up and said, we want to put it on at 650,000. We're happy to wait. And he's banging his head against the wall because that means he's not going to earn a fee for months and months and months. And also, the stupidity of those sellers is they'd be more likely to get 650,000 if they listed it at 600,000 and got competing bidders than listing it too high and hoping they get one mug that pays it, which is what so many sellers do. Yeah, the guff is strong with Rightmove. Right, guys, do we have any questions? I'm keen to keep this short. It's half an hour today. I've got masses to do. I would just like to remind people, because I don't think I can repeat this enough. All right, I'm just going to show you about, if you really want to know what's happening with house prices from asking prices. So Rightmove could do exactly what I'm about to show you. Okay, this is Best Agents data, and this is based on 100% of homes, right, We strip out garages, land, anything that's not a home is stripped out. 100% of publicly available homes for sale and to let that we can find. It's not perfect. We don't get every single one, but 100% of everything that we can find. And I'm going to just expand the screen to get in closer here. Now, that top line, this line here, is unsold asking prices, right? The median and the average. The median, as you'll see there, is much closer to actuality than the average. The average is disproportionately high. So understand that averages are always disproportionately higher in the housing market, okay? The next line down is the asking prices of sold properties. It doesn't mean the selling price. It's not necessarily the selling price. It might be if they sell at asking price, but that is the published asking price of properties that are selling. Look at the difference between the two, right? 135 grand difference between the average of unsold properties compared to sold properties, and £60,000 difference between the average asking price of an unsold property, sorry, the median asking price of an unsold property, and the 285,000 median asking price of a property that is showing as sold. So Rightmove has this data for all the property that it lists. It doesn't list 100% of properties. There are agents that don't use Rightmove. Rightmove is just like a giant, big, nasty parasite on the moving industry that is just used by the investment side of everything to make everything go up, including their share price. Did you know that Rightmove is the most profitable company on the UK stock market by net profit margin? The most profitable. What value does it put in? It takes out £250 million of profit nearly every year out of the housing market. £250 million. What does it put back? How does it help? Because in the end, as anyone knows, you go to Rightmove and actually make inquiries, you don't hear back half the time. You've got to go to the agent directly. And there are justifiable reasons for that I understand. So guys, oopsie. The seller capitulation will, yes, it will, I agree. So here's the last, more rate rises in America coming in the news. I haven't got time to go into the economy now. Martin, Jacqueline, we don't yet know. So one of the aspirations that I have working with agents on Best Agent is that they can share their actual sold prices the day that the prices are agreed. Okay. And that we will have the UK's first almost real-time index of agreed prices. That'll take a while to get there, but that's my goal, because that way everyone will know what's actually happening today at the coalface. All right. Amir Ahmed says, Charlie, can we sue Rightmove for making us overpaying for our home purchases? No, unfortunately you can't. They didn't force you to make a decision, but you can't, unfortunately. So I'm just going to, quite right, Richard Baker, asking prices are just that. They are fantasy. And again, this is also unfair on the good agents who price properties accurately and correctly. Because, and again, let's put some numbers on this, right? 2 of London's 3 largest estate agents do not sell more than 70% of what they list because they overvalue it so highly. Okay. Overvaluing is so rife by weaker businesses, by weaker estate agency businesses, that it makes the honest agents who are listing properties at an accurate market, at a realistic market price, it makes them look silly. Everyone else thinks it's going to be this much. Yeah, I know, but I'm a good agent. It's going to be this much. And these guys are in the minority. This is why I always talk about in the intro to this, I say all agents are not the same. I'm gonna just wrap up with this, okay? Why is it that I think house prices? Why am I so confident house prices are going to fall? Number one, the time lag, not only in the property transaction process itself, but also in the reporting process and how long it takes for prices to reach the land registry. So we do not have any visibility of accurate house prices until the land registry or the ONS publishes the land registry data. But even when they do, at the moment, it's a very, very small sample size. And they keep on amending it every month for 13 months. So the truth is that we do not have whole of market accurate sold price data from a land registry for more than a year after the completion was registered. Now, that massive time delay plays into the hands of people who want to manipulate house price news. Okay, so that's one thing, right? We can't see what's actually happening at house prices at the coalface today. I get it. I get a small view of that with the agents that I work with, and that's why I get a feeling of what's happening. The second reason is this: there is also, on top of that delay, there's another delay to the effect of interest rates filtering through to house prices that we have not yet seen. The mathematical completion of that has not yet happened. Okay. And number three, the effect of anything that changes in the economy doesn't feed through into house prices for another year, and falling wages, real wages. There was an article today that when you take inflation into account, the average household has lost £5,500 in the last 2 years because of inflation. That's how much our spending power has been reduced by. And wage shrinkage always leads to house price shrinkage. So I don't care what Nationwide and Halifax are saying this month. I just don't care, because it's still to come. And for those of you waiting to buy now, I know it's frustrating, really frustrating, because you just, and there are some of you out there who are just worried, is it really going to fall? What if it doesn't fall? What if they go back up? What if I could have bought now and I miss it and it goes back up? And there are people like my friend Russell Quirk who actually thinks that and say that. And guys, you've got to live with your own decisions. So if you believe that house prices have reached the bottom and are going to go back up, if that's what you believe, despite everything that I've said, then you must buy now. If you genuinely believe house prices have hit the bottom and are going to go up, if that's what your considered opinion is, and you're willing to roll the dice and risk negative equity, go ahead and buy. Because I'm not telling people not to buy. I'm telling people to make sure that they're not overpaying, which means factor in what they think house prices are going to do. Okay. But for all those reasons, house prices, in my opinion, are going to continue to fall quite a long way. And the steepest falls will not happen until the second half of this year, and they won't be reported until the first half of next year. So to find out what's happening to house prices right now, we're going to have to wait a year before we know for sure. And that's why I'm here, guys. I'm trying to help make some sense of what's out there. And I appeal to any journalists who can talk to the PR guys at Rightmove and say, could you please confirm the calculation methodology of the Rightmove asking price index? Yeah. Now, guys, I would like to wrap this up, but also remind everybody that if you are buying and you're offering and you're competing against other people and you want to be the one that's chosen, there are 3 things that you can do that will improve your chances of having your offer accepted, all else being equal. Number 1, make sure you've got a mortgage in principle. Number 2, make sure you've got your conveyancer lined up. And number 3, with your offer in the email, remember, always make your offer by email, right? Say, if my offer is accepted, I will purchase the property search pack immediately. For those of you who don't know, if you're buying with a mortgage, lenders require a property search pack to be purchased as part of the conveyancing process to satisfy them that there are no major problems with the property. This is not something that you will be able to avoid if you're buying through with a mortgage. You're going to have to pay for it at some point, but what it does do if you don't order it straight away is it can and does cause a massive delay to the conveyancing process. So by saying to the seller, if you accept my offer, I've already got my mortgage in principle ready, I've got my conveyancing lined up, and if you accept my offer, I will order the search pack today, which will, there are already studies out, I haven't got a link to it right now, but I will do it soon in a video, showing that by doing that, you double your chances of the transaction completing and not falling through. Okay, you can get those things. So all my ducks, mhwc.co.uk, all my ducks. That's where you can get all 3 things. Or from there, you can go and get just whichever one you need. If you just need a mortgage in principle, you just need conveyancing. I've just teamed up with a guy. I'm going to be doing videos, guys, interviews with these guys to explain more about exactly what we're doing with them. These are people I trust. They are reliable. You should always make your own choice. But if you haven't got the time, or you can't be asked, or you can't find anyone that you trust, that's what I've got these guys lined up for, okay? Thank you for watching, guys. And on that happy note, oh, I wish I'd had time to read through all your comments. Andrew Barton, yes, I think interest rates are going to continue going up. I mean, it's priced in that they're going to go up. They will go up a bit further this year as well. Which is why the rises that are yet to come won't be felt in the property market for another year after that. So anyone who thinks house prices are going up in the next 12 months is either a fantasist or needs their head examined. Yeah, new build searches, Mad Mountain Man. As far as I'm aware, new build searches absolutely are included for that. That's a good question. Someone says, Charlie, why do agents not like disclosing the terms of a leasehold agreement? Doesn't the seller always have a free copy of whatever they signed years ago? That's a very good question. So, especially in a difficult buyer's market, what estate agents need, especially if they're crap estate agents and have overvalued to get the instruction, is they need evidence, or they need reasons to persuade the seller to drop the price. And the more people who view and don't offer helps them drop the price down. Okay, so by the way, a really good agent will have that information up front. Right? Really good agents will have got that information from the seller up front and won't want to waste your time. But crap agents won't like it. Okay, but in this market, if you're in that situation and you're a buyer who does want to view a property but not without seeing the leasehold first, tell the agent that. Say, you can get me the lease term so I can check I'm not wasting my time. I'll come and view it. Without that, there's no point. It's a waste of time. Thank you, guys. You're very kind. I appreciate you all too. Thanks for coming. Please remember to, if you don't already have your own independent whole of market mortgage broker lined up and you can't find one, or you're conveyancing, go to mhwc.co.uk, get it through me. It helps me out, helps you out, because my guys are fantastic. Lots of love and luck to everybody. Have a great night. And by the way, tomorrow night, I've got a live stream, 8:00 tomorrow night, with a former corporate estate agency branch manager who's now gone independent, and he's going to be spilling the beans about what happens in corporate estate agencies. So that should be a cracker. Looking forward to that. Hopefully see you here tomorrow night for that. Bye, guys. Have a good night.